All right, welcome everyone. We are diving deep today into a cruise-focused newsletter.
It's packed with travel inspiration,
Hmm.
expert tips, all that good stuff. And it's hot off the press. March, so, spring is in the air. And apparently it's in the cruise news too.
Yeah, definitely feels like the perfect time to be thinking about cruises. So, what are we waiting for? Let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
First up, some cruise line updates. Seems like there's always something happening in the cruise world.
Always. And this newsletter kicks things off with Virgin Voyages. Apparently, their very first ship, the Scarlet Lady, is celebrating a big milestone.
Oh.
5 years. It was delivered by Fincantieri, the big shipbuilding company, 5 years ago. It's interesting to think about, a cruise line hitting that 5-year mark.
Yeah.
It means they've really found their footing.
It's like they've graduated from the startup phase or something.
Right. Like now they have years of data on what passengers like, what works, what doesn't. I bet that's super valuable as they plan for the future.
Makes you wonder what they've learned and what they'll do next.
For sure. Now, shifting gears a bit, Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas is embarking on its 2026-2027 season.
Wow, that's a long season. Out of San Diego, right?
That's right, San Diego. And to kick things off, they're doing a short cruise down to Baja, Mexico. Sounds like a perfect little escape.
I love those shorter cruises. Sometimes you just need a quick getaway.
Absolutely. Now, there's also news about an incident where a ship listed off the coast of New Zealand.
Oh, no, that sounds scary.
It does. But thankfully, there was no structural damage and no injuries. The newsletter says strong winds were the culprit. It's a reminder that nature is powerful.
Yeah, you can't control the weather.
But it's also reassuring that modern cruise ships are built to withstand those kinds of conditions.
Yeah,
They have stabilizers and all sorts of technology to keep things safe.
that's good to hear. It's always a little nerve-wracking to think about things like that happening at sea.
Definitely. And speaking of unforeseen events, Viking had to cancel its visits to Santorini in February.
Oh, why was that?
Ongoing seismic activity. They didn't want to take any risks with passenger safety.
Makes sense. Safety first, always. Okay, now this next story in the newsletter really caught my eye. It's about a couple, Jason and Tammy Merritt, who went on an anniversary cruise on Carnival Magic.
Ah, yes, the traveler tale. And this one is a bit of a wild ride.
So they get off the ship, and one of their suitcases is missing. But here's the crazy part. They had AirPods inside the suitcase so they could actually see where it was.
You've got to be kidding.
Nope, I'm serious. They're at home, and their suitcase is sailing around the Caribbean without them. Can you imagine?
Talk about frustrating. Like you're stuck at home and your belongings are having a better vacation than you are.
Exactly. So weeks go by, and finally a crew member finds the suitcase in another guest's cabin.
What? So someone had taken it?
That's what it seems like. But the woman who had it denied taking it.
Oh, come on.
I know, right?
Yeah.
But thankfully, they were able to use the AirPod serial number to prove it was theirs. Technology to the rescue.
Wow, that's a good reminder to always keep track of your serial numbers.
Absolutely. So get this. The woman who had the suitcase was put under house arrest for the rest of the cruise.
No way.
Yep. And she's banned from sailing with Carnival again.
Well, she learned her lesson the hard way.
It makes you wonder what she was thinking. But you know what? This whole ordeal brings us to a really important safety tip.
I bet I know what it is. Luggage trackers.
You got it. The newsletter stresses how valuable those little devices like Apple AirTags or tile trackers can be.
It's so true. Just knowing where your bag is can save so much hassle if it gets lost. And it's such a small investment for the peace of mind it provides. Especially these days, when travel can be so unpredictable.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, now let's talk about something specifically for our senior cruisers. The newsletter has a tip that's all about motion sickness.
Ah, yes, this is a good one. It recommends booking a cabin that's midship and on a lower deck.
I've heard that before. Why is that the best spot?
Well, being in the middle of the ship means you feel less of the side-to-side motion. And being on a lower deck reduces the up and down movement. It's all about minimizing that rocking and swaying.
Makes perfect sense. It's like finding the sweet spot on the ship.
Exactly. Now, are you ready for some springtime cruise inspiration?
Always.
The newsletter highlights some beautiful destinations. First up, Cherry Blossom River Cruises in Japan.
Oh, that sounds magical. I can just picture those beautiful pink blossoms lining the riverbanks.
And it's not just about the scenery. The newsletter mentions that these cruises also offer enriching cultural shore excursions, so you get to immerse yourself in Japanese culture as well.
That sounds like the perfect blend of beauty and culture.
It does. And if you're a tulip enthusiast, you might want to consider a tulip time river cruise in the Netherlands and Belgium.
The Netherlands in springtime, that's gotta be stunning.
Absolutely. Think fields of colorful tulips as far as the eye can see. The newsletter specifically mentions the Keukenhof Gardens, which is apparently world-renowned for its tulip displays.
I've seen pictures. It's like a real-life fairy tale.
You also get to explore charming Dutch villages, so it's very picturesque and relaxing.
Now, for those who are craving some sunshine and warmth, there's always the Caribbean.
Right, Caribbean getaway cruises. The classic spring break option. Beautiful beaches, vibrant island cultures, plenty of activities for everyone. What's not to love?
Sounds like the perfect antidote to winter blues.
Definitely. And then there are generational spring break cruises. These are designed for families with members of all ages.
Interesting. So like grandparents, parents, and kids all cruising together.
Exactly. The newsletter mentions that lines like Royal Caribbean and Disney are really excelling in this area. They offer everything from kids clubs to adult-only areas, so everyone in the family can have a fantastic time.
That's smart. Catering to everyone's needs within one family group. Okay, now for the editor's pick for senior travelers.
This one caught my eye too. It's a bit unexpected.
What is it?
Virgin Voyages.
Really? I wouldn't have guessed that. It doesn't seem like their typical target audience.
I know, right? But the editor, Susan McCall, makes a compelling case for it. She says it's ideal for seniors seeking a stress-free, all-inclusive, adults-only experience.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal.
Right. No kids running around, everything is taken care of. You can just relax and enjoy yourself.
And the newsletter lists some specific benefits, right?
Yep. Specialty dining, Wi-Fi, gratuities, fitness classes, all included in the fare. So no hidden costs or surprises.
I like that. It makes budgeting so much easier.
Exactly. And there are no formal nights, so you can dress how you like. It's all about flexibility and comfort.
Makes sense. So tell me a bit about Susan McCall, the editor of this newsletter. What's her background?
Well, she's got over 20 years of experience cruising and exploring different cruise lines.
Wow, she's a seasoned cruiser.
She is, and she specializes in cruises for seniors, which is why she has that dedicated section in the newsletter. It's great that she has that expertise. And to stay on top of things, she's constantly learning, attending industry events, talking to people at the cruise lines. She's really committed to providing accurate and up-to-date information.
Sounds like she knows her stuff.
Definitely. And her advice is based on real experience and research, not just marketing hype.
That's what you want in an expert. And for anyone who wants to reach out to Susan directly, her contact information is in the newsletter.
Right. It's Susan McCall, 855-229-5723. Her email is susan@infinityfunandtravel.com, and the website is https://infinityfunandtravel.com. And the newsletter, of course, is from Infinity Fun and Travel.
Great. So there you have it. We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have cruise line updates, luggage mishaps, safety tips, destinations, expert insights. It's been quite a journey through the world of cruising.
It really has. We've gone from the excitement of new ship anniversaries to the drama of lost luggage and the allure of springtime destinations.
It just goes to show how diverse the cruise industry is, with something for everyone.
And so, for you, our listener, what stands out the most from all of this? As you think about planning your own cruise, what factor now feels most crucial? The itinerary, the ship itself, the security of travel insurance, or maybe something else entirely that we've discussed today?
It's an interesting question to ponder as you embark on your next cruise adventure. And with that, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little bit inspiring.
Until next time, happy cruising.